Good evening and welcome to Easy Friday. I'm Karen Kibet and thank you for joining us as we close out the week with the stories shaping our world. But before we get into tonight's broadcast, I'd like to send a special birthday shout out to my colleague and co-anchor John Kago. Though he is not here with us in studio this evening, we wish him a wonderful birthday, good health, happiness and continued success. Happy birthday, John. Now, here is what is coming up. We'll bring you the top global stories making headlines, followed by the latest in business, where we break down the market trends and economic developments that matter most. Then we will round off the bulletin with all the highlights from the world of sports. I'm glad you're with us. This is Easy Friday. Let's begin. Here are the highlights. Opportunities for the youth. Thousands of graduates to join year-long next generation of youth empowerment program. Aviation strike averted as Nairobi Employment and Labor Relations Court issues order suspending industrial action planned for Monday. And a 9-hour ordeal. Police officers in Limuru stranded with bodies after 2 morgues in Kiambu and Nairobi initially closed doors. Welcome. This is Easy Friday. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Caroline Joroge. Now, thousands of graduates are set to gain year-long paid work experience under the Next Gen Youth Empowerment Program. The initiative, a partnership program between the government, the United Nations Development Program, and the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, was unveiled at State House by President William Ruto, with the head of state calling on the private sector to also chip in and complement the government stipend to its interns.
The government has made a strategic move to invest 2 billion shillings in empowering young people with skills through an internship program dubbed NextGen.ke.
As the launch now takes place.
The initiative brings together the National Treasury, the UNDP, and the Kenya Private Sector Alliance with an aim to improve education to employment pathways for Kenyan youth by providing graduates with structured stipend-supported placements within private sector organizations.
The National Treasury is providing the resources, but it is the private sector that turns capital into jobs.
My challenge is to the private sector first, that please come on board, more of you. We have our target is in three years to reach at least 100,000 young people. We cannot do without you, the private sector.
Our ambition is to demonstrate a model that can transform how governments, businesses, and development partners work together to address one of the most defining development challenge of our time.
President William Ruto has challenged the private sector to embrace the opportunity by creating spaces for interns and committed to double the government's allocation to 5 billion shillings in the next financial year.
This program, as has been said, is initially targeting 30,000 young people. But looking at the partnership and the collaboration that is here, the government of Kenya will be willing to scale up our partnership so that we can take this program to 100,000 young people.
The president has also asked Parliament to review the legislative proposal on internship to make the program sustainable and permanent. The first cohort of trainees will see at least 500 graduates harness their skills in various sectors, including agribusiness, manufacturing, construction, ICT, energy, and professional services.
If for every shilling the government of Kenya puts in, if the development partners can give us 2 or 3 shillings, we'd really appreciate it. I am asking also the private sector. These are people who will be working for you, in short, really. You'll be training them, yes, but they will be working for you. I think it's only fair that you give them something, you know, also. Even if it's just fare and lunch, you know, something.
The program targets to bridge the experience gap for university and TVET graduates by targeting 100,000 youth over 3 years. The launch of the Next Gen program is a deliberate commitment by the government to address an urgent national priority, that is the youth unemployment. The ball now lies with the private sector to open up spaces. Reporting from State House, I'm Gishoke Washira.
Thank you, Washira, for that report. The Nairobi Employment and Labour Relations Court has issued an order suspending the nationwide aviation strikes planned to commence from 27th of July 2026. This comes after the Kenya Airways and Jambo Jet Limited moved to court to avert the aviation workers' planned strike. KAWU members plan to down their tools from Monday over stalled remuneration negotiations.
Airport operations will continue undisrupted following a pending hearing and determination of 2 cases filed by Jambo Jet and Kenya Airways in the Nairobi Employment and Labour Relations Court, restraining the Kenya Aviation Workers Union from continuing with the planned strike. In a case Jambo Jet versus the Kenya Aviation Workers Union before Hon Justice Onesmus Makau, set to be heard on 29th of July 2026, aviation workers have been restrained from participating in any industrial action pursuant to the strike notice dated 20th July 2026, pending the inter-party hearing of the application. Meanwhile, in a case between Kenya Airways and the Kenya Aviation Workers Union before Hon Lady Justice Agnes M.K. Nzei, the court has restrained the aviation workers from calling, implementing, enforcing, promoting, or in any way giving effect industrial action contemplated in the strike notice dated 20th July 2026. The case is expected to be heard on 29th September 2026. Aviation workers have been urged to observe the court order to avoid penal consequences. Ezekiel Owino reporting today.
Community health promoters will now collect and relay real-time health data through the newly launched electronic community health information system. The system, a third version, is a digital superhighway that targets to strengthen primary health care, disease surveillance, and the delivery of universal health coverage through Taifa Care.
On Friday, the Ministry of Health launched the third version of the electronic community health information system meant to ensure smooth and efficient delivery of universal health coverage by community health promoters, a development from the initial SMS-based platform.
Vision 1 was an SMS-based platform where we used USSD to send a few things and make a few queries. We evolved to Vision 2 and got an app that is now interactive, can collect data, can construct dashboards.
The system that has registered 30 million people within 9.3 million households will also strengthen preventive healthcare and support decision-making in budget allocation.
The quality of data that is collected by our CHPs is very, very good because it will help us with planning. In terms of budgetary allocation, we are going to be able to know in different units, small units, and also be able to detect where we have not budgeted enough.
This comes even as the ministry issued an advisory on the consumption of vegetables after research conducted by the Kenya Organic Agriculture Network and the University of Nairobi in major markets in Nairobi and Nakuru detected multiple pesticides residues in kale and spinach. Seeing that the findings did not indicate an immediate danger posed to a consumer, the ministry has urged Kenyans to include vegetables as part of a healthy, balanced diet. The ministry has advised Kenyans to uphold household vegetable preparation practices through washing, soaking and peeling where appropriate. At the same time, county governments' health departments have been urged to be proactive in public sensitization and reporting. Kasichana Masha, Easy Friday.
Now, drama unfolded at the Tigoni Level 4 Hospital in Limuru, Kiambu County, after police officers forced open the gate to the facility's mortuary following hours-long standoff. The officers were left stranded with an unidentified body picked up along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway after both Tigoni Mortuary and Nairobi Funeral Home initially turned them away.
It all began at around 1 a.m. near Kamandura area along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway, where police officers retrieved the body of an unidentified person.
Our preliminary investigation indicated that this young person was not killed at the point we found him. Therefore, we had to take the necessary measures.
What should have been a routine drop-off turned into a 9-hour ordeal. Officers first brought the body to the Tigoni mortuary, which refused to accept it.
The body was declined, alleging that the mortuary does not accept unknown bodies.
Desperate for a solution, they traveled all the way to Nairobi Funeral Home, only to be turned away.
The same body was not received because it came from a different county.
After more than 9 hours of driving between mortuaries with the body still in their vehicle, the officers returned to Tigoni only to find the main gate locked, triggering a heated confrontation with hospital management and temporarily paralyzed operations at the facility. Limuru Police Commander Mary Gashie decried the frequent rejections, warning that such delays cripple investigations and tie down officers who should be on active security detail.
What has happened today does not imply a very good picture of how agencies ought to work with one another.
Though the hospital's management eventually accepted the body, Limuru-nominated Member of County Assembly Pacifica Ongecha called the spectacle an embarrassment, demanding Kiambu County establish clear interagency protocols.
Tunataka watu wetu ambao wamesimamia mahifadhi zetu katika kaunti ya Kiambu watuelekeze wakati polisi, afisa wetu wa polisi wanapokota mili watakuwa wanazipeleka wapi.
Meanwhile, detectives at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations have intensified operations against sexual exploitation in Kisarian and Ongata Rongai, Kajiado County, rescuing dozens of young women believed to have been lured into exploitative schemes and arresting suspects linked to the production of obscene content. In Ongata Rongai's Rimpa area, detectives raided a house suspected of being used to produce explicit content, rescuing 30 women aged between 19 and 27. In neighboring Kisarian, officers rescued 18 women allegedly lured with promises of domestic jobs but instead forced into sexual exploitation and commercial prostitution. Police recovered 7 laptops fitted with cameras and other equipment believed to have been used in the operation, while suspects were arrested and investigations launched. Mariambo reporting for the Prime Edition.
The National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has called on border riders across the country to spearhead a nationwide voter registration campaign while rallying support for President William Ruto's re-election bid. Wetangula described the riders as influential grassroots mobilizers owing to their daily interactions with millions of Kenyans in both urban and rural areas. Michael Mwandiga reports.
Addressing a Boda Boda Empowerment Program at Sato Grounds in Taveta constituency, Taita Taveta County on Friday, accompanied by other broad-based leaders, Wetangula urged operators in the sector encourage eligible citizens who already possess national identity cards but are yet to register as voters with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC to do so.
Siku ya tarehe 10 mwezi wa 8 mwaka ujao. Silaha ya kisiasa sio ngumi. Silaha ya kisiasa sio fimbo. sio mawe, ni kadi yako ya kura.
At the same time, the speaker asked the riders to become ambassadors of President William Ruto's second-term campaign, arguing that the Kenya Kwanza administration's development record justified another 5 years in office.
Kila ukibeba mtu, mupe habari njema. Kwanza, una kipande. Pili, umejiandikisha kupiga kura. Tatu, uko awamu ya 2 term.
Wananchi wa Taita Taveta wanajua ni nani amefanya kazi. Wanajua Kenya ilikuwa wapi wakati Rais William Ruto ameshika, Kenya iko wapi sasa, na Kenya inaelekea wapi.
Mgala muwe laki yake, lakini haki yake. Haki ya William ni nini? Haki ya William nini?
Speaking separately at Oberry Boys High School in Rachonyo East Sub-County, Homa Bay County, Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo urged residents to register and support President Ruto's re-election to realize sustainable developments in road, education and blue economy sectors.
All our MPs, the 29 of them in the 4 counties of this region, we have agreed in one accord that we will work together in support of President Ruto's transformative leadership, and to sustain that, we must ensure that those who have IDs who are eligible to register as voters, working through the government infrastructure as well as IEBC, that we all register.
Elsewhere, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has accused former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua of sponsoring goons to intimidate leaders allied to the government.
Kwa sababu yeye amekuwa impeached, he thinks that he can now anatuharibia majina kila mahali akisunguka Murkomen this, Murkomen that. Let me tell him that we will deal with goons and we will deal starting with your goons.
Murkomen made the remarks in Tiati constituency, Baringo County. Michael Mundiga for Easy Friday.
Now, the government has dismissed claims that the defense partnership between Kenya and the United Kingdom has been terminated. In a statement, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says Kenya remains ready to resolve any outstanding matters through established diplomatic and institutional channels.
Mudavadi. In a statement to Newsrooms Friday, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi discounted speculations that the planned joint training of the British Army Training Unit Kenya Batuk and the Kenya Defence Forces in Laikipia later in September had been cancelled. According to Mudavadi, the Kenya-UK Defence Cooperation Agreement was before the National Assembly Committee on Defence, Intelligence and Foreign Relations for consideration, and there was therefore no cause for alarm. He underscored Kenya's commitment to resolving all outstanding issues through established diplomatic and institutional channels. In a statement on Thursday, the UK government said that the exercise, which had been scheduled to take place in Laikipia later this year, would now be conducted at an alternative location outside Kenya after the required approvals were not granted. The moving of the training exercise to an alternative location, however, did not mean the halting of Batuk operations in Kenya. Giverson Minor, Prime Edition.
Now, parents have been urged to spend more quality time with their children as education stakeholders seek lasting solutions to recent wave of unrest witnessed in schools across the country. The call was made during the 40th anniversary celebrations and annual prize-giving ceremony of St. George's Girls Secondary School, where Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthening education through increased investment in infrastructure, teachers and learner support.
The colorful celebrations at St. George's Girls Secondary School brought together government officials, education stakeholders, alumni, parents and students. A display of began vibrant cultural performances including an Indian dance, choir presentations, spoken word and traditional dances as students showcased their talents while reflecting the school's commitment to nurturing holistic development. At the celebrations, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba congratulated the institution on its remarkable journey, describing it as one of Kenya's leading schools that has consistently nurtured academic excellence, discipline, and responsible citizenship.
Thousands of young women who have passed through these gates continue to distinguish themselves in public service, in education, in healthcare, in law, in business, in science, in technology, and in many other fields. They have demonstrated that when a girl is given quality education, she becomes a force for positive change within her family, her community, and the nation at large.
40 years is a milestone, but it is not the finish line, it is the checkpoint. Our founders gave us a vision, the alumni gave us a name, the teachers gave us the work, the parents gave us the trust. Now the students must give us the future. Let this 40th anniversary be the year we renew our covenant.
He made a rallying call to parents to play a more active role in raising disciplined children, noting that strong family involvement remains critical in addressing the cases of unrest witnessed in sections of learning institutions.
And to our kids, our learners, 95% of their success is pegged on discipline. It's been said here, it does not matter how many degrees you have or how much money you have. If your character is flawed, then you will not be said to be successful.
In supporting the call for responsible parenting, the Teachers Service Commission Chairperson Dr. Jamlek Muturi cautioned against the excessive use of social media among learners and the need for instilling moral values that prepare them for life beyond the classroom.
Let us parents monitor the kind of garbage our learners, our sons and daughters are getting from social media. Let us engage in social media that is profitable to our brain, to our spiritual growth, and our physical growth.
The celebrations also recognized outstanding academic performance amidst call for multi-stakeholder support for the institution. Jacqueline Masharia for Easy Friday.
And that report leads us to a very fast short break right here on Easy Friday. Don't go too far. I'll be back with more reports.
Your home is one of your greatest investments. Have you purchased a domestic package cover? The policy covers residential building against damage by floods, fire and lightning and other causes. House contents like furniture and household goods against theft or damage. Personal belongings like laptops, tablets, iPads and phones within and outside the home. Death or injury to domestic servants in the course of employment. Death or injury to visitors within the residential premises. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
Many workers access their retirement benefits when switching jobs, unaware of the impact it has on their future. Taking out your retirement savings too soon reduces the income you will have when you retire, leaving your future less secure. Have you thought about the lifestyle or income you want to retire with? The earlier you start saving, the better. And the more you save, the more secure your future will be. Increase your savings today and live your golden years the way you've always dreamed. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800-720-300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Kupata shule ya mtoto wako disabled si rahisi.
Integrated schools do more than just sharing a physical space. They build teamwork and create a sense of belonging.
We are looking at an education system that encompasses everything that this child on the spectrum requires.
When we open our school doors to everyone, we just don't change how children learn, but we break down the walls of social stigma and teach the next generation the power of inclusion.
We've been with our son for 10 years, and the best thing you can do is expose your child.
The Kenya we are building cannot afford to leave any child's potential on the margins.
Join us this Saturday at 4 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. For those joining us right now, this is Easy Friday. We proceed. Now, a section of women leaders is now sounding the alarm that escalating cases of political violence and online abuse risk undermining women's participation in the 2027 general elections unless urgent action is taken. The leaders, led by Echo Network Africa Foundation Chief of Party Sarah Muhoya, are calling on relevant authorities to crack down on perpetrators and electoral and political violence, saying the vice is slowly instilling fear among women seeking elective positions. They have also urged political parties to front more women for various political leadership positions as a critical step towards spearheading an inclusive democracy.
The country gears up for the 2027 general election. Women leaders have renewed calls for greater inclusion of women in political leadership.
Whether it's executive, whether it's whatever.
Led by the Echo Network Africa Foundation Chief of Party Sarah Muhoya, the leaders decried the increasing cases of political violence in various parts of the country, saying the rising spate of attacks continue to discourage women from seeking elective positions.
We don't have a shortage of laws that can be enforced to reduce and to really deal with criminal gangs. And therefore, as a country, we must agree that we cannot build a culture of gangism, of goonism. We must tackle it together. It is not the job of one agency, the police, the DCI. It is our job.
If you go where you're vying, if you're married, unaambiwa rudi huko mahali umeolewa. Na the other way, unaambiwa rudi mahali umezaliwa. And then the goonism and violence, which is even worse for women candidates. So
they have at the same time challenged political parties to adopt fair nomination processes and front more women candidates for various elective seats.
As NCIC, we encourage political parties to create fair and inclusive nomination processes. We call upon the media to provide balanced and respectful coverage of women leaders. We urge citizens to reject divisive narratives and support leadership based on integrity, competence, and vision rather than gender or ethnicity.
IEBC needs to really crack the whip so that if a political party presents a list that does not comply with the electoral laws, it needs to be punished. They need to set that list back.
Meanwhile, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has urged political parties and other stakeholders to equip women aspirants with adequate information on the electoral processes to enable them navigate the path to elective leadership successfully. They spoke during the National Multi-Stakeholder Dialogue and Sensitization Forum on Gender-Responsive Electoral Governance in Nairobi. John Kahiro for Easy Friday.
Now, it's Easy Friday, and while we've been keeping you informed here, celebrations are already underway elsewhere. KBC Radio Taifa is lighting up Kakamega with a vibrant Rumba night, bringing together lovers of timeless African music for an evening of entertainment and culture. For a feel of the excitement on the ground, let's head to Kakamega, where our reporter Simon Achola is standing by. Simon, a very good evening to you. Tell us, how's the mood in Kakamega? What's happening where you are? Simon?
Thank you very much, Karen Kibet. Indeed, we are in Kakamega County, and today it has been a beehive of activities for Radio Taifa. Of course, starting from 8 a.m. in the morning when they met the Kakamega County Governor Fernandez Baraza, and of course the governor spelling out his development agenda for Kakamega County before, of course, the team went to the special school Malava, and then eventually ended up at Msala special school, also just doing the CSR activity in terms of giving out food and other non-food items to those students in those particular school. But more importantly, of course, at the end of the day, they say that all work without play makes Tom a dull boy. And today in the evening, of course, we are all gathering here at Havana Lounge along Kisumu Kakamega Road, and from the background, of course, seeing the number of vehicles that are actually parked outside this place tells you a story of how revelers have actually come into this place in terms of wanting to be part and parcel of this fantastic day for Radio Taifa Rumba Night here in Kakamega County. And renowned presenters of that station, Carolina Muramba, Zaka Lamoka, and of course the head of Radio Taifa, Becky Cheroitich, all here in terms of just meeting their fans and ensuring that indeed they have that interpersonal connection with their fans from this part of the country. But more importantly, also doing a number of activities today. And of course, Karen, tomorrow the team will be heading to Butere, where they will be having a number of other activities in Butere Girls School, and of course also having other activities in this county before they call it a day. But just to put into perspective exactly what the day was and what will be happening tomorrow is Becky Cheroitich, who is the head of Radio Taifa. Becky, yes. A fantastic day indeed for Radio Taifa.
Indeed, it's a fantastic day, and I'm joined by our brand manager, Jackie, as well. So yeah, it's been a fantastic day. We've been very busy today. We started very early in the morning with the county government of Kakamega. We spoke to the governor. We left, went to Malava Special Unit, to donate our love and just mingle with these kids. Then later on, we went to Musala. Now we are here at Havana Lounge, ready for a good night of rumba.
The connection between, of course, Radio Taifa presenters and the fans, of course, telling a story of how these radio stations continue to be loved by many people in this part of the country.
Yes, radio is a medium that cannot be replaced, not so soon, because it's reached by everybody to the rural areas, and we're in Kakamega, which is our fan base, our big fan base. And you've seen the fans are here. We have people who've traveled from Lamu. We have people who've traveled from Nairobi just to come and enjoy rumba with us. That tells you radio is still a very significant medium of information.
Very significant indeed, and just touching the souls of the kids with special needs. First from the Malaba Special School, and of course Msala. What a story.
It's a big story because what more than just giving back to the society? This is a way of showing our love, that indeed we care about the children, we care about the society. So we thought, why not bring some goods to schools of special needs? So we are there to share our love, also to bring things that they need. And you've seen they're really in need. So I'm happy that we made them happy by bringing them the things they really desired. You saw them how you're there with us. They cheered when they saw that and said, God has remembered us. What a story.
Yeah, fantastic. I know you want us to talk about what will be happening here tonight, but also our fans want to know what you guys will be doing tomorrow in Butere. Just make them understand what will be happening there.
Oh yeah, we also have our schools program. We really love children. We love schools. We love education. So tomorrow we will be at Butere Girls High School. we'll be doing our live show called Ramania Kiswahili from 8 to 10 a.m. We'll be live from Butere, and we have like 5 schools coming to join us. Butere boys and the like. So we're really excited that this is our weekend with the students.
Fantastic opportunity for those that actually want to do journalism, and of course those that are actually keen on languages, to actually just have a first-hand experience in terms of meeting some of these people that are actually on radio and get to understand how language can actually put them on such a great pedestal.
That's right. And recently we had Kiswahili Day, which we as well took it to Kenya High School. So I think it's been our month of education in the Swahili language. And our presenter, Matthias Momanyi, is actually a trained teacher. So you can imagine, an expert in these things. Yeah.
In this conversation, you have actually touched on the fact that, fans are coming from far and wide. How does it feel that, fans are coming from Busia, others are coming from all the way from the coastal part of this country, that is Lamu, just to be part and parcel of this Rumba night?
It feels great because now we know Radio Taifa reaches to the ends of Kenya. You imagine Lamu County. That's such a far place. Someone has woken up from Nairobi. You know, people are busy. But if someone puts aside their schedule and just to come and enjoy with us, that tells you Radio Taifa is still the king of radio in Kenya. And tutabaki mama na baba. Sisi ndo kusema, wengine ni kufuata.
What also amazed me today was the fact that that old lady from Busia, just coming here, and of course now interacting with the presenters, of course telling them how she loves Radio Taifa, and of course continuing to encourage you people to do what you're doing. How did it feel?
We felt so nice because she's always been calling in every show. So we call her Ho-Ho. She calls in every show. She knows all the presenters. She knows all our programs, all our segments at that age. So you can imagine the kind of impact Radio Taifa has, from the elderly to the young. So we are really excited that we are still being felt on ground, and even far, much more.
And it was touching when she said that when you guys, the day that she has failed to call the station, then it means that she's sick.
That's true. Either she's sick or something, but from the Zinga show to the mid-morning to the afternoon to the evening, you won't miss to hear her voice. So it was really glad to also put her face on the voice we've been listening to on radio.
Yes. Fantastic, Becky. Thank you very much. I'll let you go. But Karen, just to put a face, as Becky has said, on the names that we've actually mentioned, a fan coming all the way from Lamu to just be part and parcel of this great day for Radio Taifa. You'd be asking yourself, what has actually motivated him to come all the way from Lamu to this place, and who is this that can actually travel from Lamu, all the way from Lamu to this place? So we have Elias who traveled all the way from Lamu to Kakamega, and he's actually been with us, walked around with us and ensured that he's been part and parcel of each and every activity that we went today. And of course, he went freshened up, and then of course came back for this Rumba night. We just want to know what actually prompted him to move all the way from Lamu to this place. Elias, ilikuwaje mpaka ukatoka Lamu hadi hapa?
Nimetoka Lamu kuja hapa kama shabiki wa KBC. Kwa majina naitwa Elias Baraza, kwa majina ya mtaani na wanaita chairman wa Arsenal. Sasa kutoka Lamu mpaka hapa ni mwaliko kwanza wa KBC na mafans. So nashukuru Mungu sana. Maombi ya mafans ndio wamenifanya mpaka nimefika hapa leo, na kipindi cha KBC na mashabiki ndio sisi kama kutoka Lamu County wakaniambia nikuje huko leo niwakilishe, kwa sababu sote hatuwezi kuja, lakini nikifika mimi wao pia watakuwa wamefika pia.
Umesema mashabiki mashabiki wenzako kutoka Lamu ndio wamekupa nafasi, wakasema kwamba wewe nenda utuwakilishe. Hivi najiuliza tu, wale marafiki zako wengine mtaani mkiketi hivi nawaambia kwamba mimi naenda Rumba night ambayo KBC itakuwa kule Kakamega, wanakuambia nini?
Sasa wameshukuru sana. Kwanza wengi hawakuamini kwamba atafika, na wengi hawakuamini kwamba chanzine zitafika pale kama hapa, nikawa mmoja wa kuteuliwa kufika hapa. Hiyo kwanza wameshukuru sana. So shabiki wote palipopote anaposikia KBC anaweza kuwa pale kama hapa akajumuika na watangazaji bora, watangazaji wale wana sifa kubwa sana. So hakuna mtu anayepingwa. Lakini ukiwa shabiki, karibu sana wote kwenye palipote kwenye yuko.
Nini haswa inakuvutia katika KBC?
KBC kwanza ni vipindi vingi sana. Kwanza kipindi cha asubuhi cha Dora Amanya na Rashid Mwamkondo kinaniguza roho yangu mimi mwenyewe kwanza. Tukitoka hapo yani karibu vipindi vyote hata vya Ramani ya Kiswahili kwanza kusema kama upande wa Lamu, Ramani ya Kiswahili imekuwa ni kipindi cha kinapendwa sana shuleni, kinapendwa na wadau wengi sana. So mimi kwanza ni shabiki hapo tena. Kuna kipindi kingine cha reggae DJ Stano kama mimi lakini napenda sana hiyo kipindi chake, na kuna kipindi cha Meja Hoka Mama Hoka na kipenda, yani vipindi vingi karibu KBC vyote mimi vinaniguza roho yangu sana kabisa.
Kuna wale wanafiki wanasema kwamba KBC imeisha.
KBC katika Lamu County, mimi kuambia kama katika Lamu County hakuna radio inaweza kufikia KBC kwa sababu unapata mafanzi wengi tuko pale, na hakuna station yote pale Lamu County inasumbua KBC, na hakuna mfano hata mkipanga siku mkufika pale hamtaamini nyinyi wenyewe. Labda ni mbwembwe tu za mtaani watu kuongea, lazima watu ongee mbaya, ni kawaida ya maisha pia. Lakini hatuwezi sema kwamba KBC haina, yani KBC ni station inapendwa sana wadogo na wakubwa. Alafu kitu kingine KBC kwamba inakuwa ni KBC ni radio kubwa, kitu yenye mimi naweza sema hawatoi habari fake. Cha kwanza nilo. Alafu wakikupa habari huwa ni ya hakika. Alafu katika wale watangazaji hawana matamshi ya matusi ama kukejeli familia ama kukejeli mtu, huwa hawana. Kwa so wanaheshima wao wenyewe kwanza wanapoenda katika media, na wanaheshimu shabiki wote. So mimi nashukuru sana kwa mambo vipindi vyao sana.
Sifa nzuri sana. Leo tunakata rumba hapa. Unatarajia nini?
Mimi nakata rumba hapa kwanza na KBC na matangazaji wengi sana. Alafu kuna gavana mwenyewe pia kwa hapo ndani, tutapiga sherehe naye. Leo tumeenda kwa shule za watoto walemavu, tumekuwa na wao, KBC wamewapa zawadi zao. So tunashukuru Mungu sana kwamba KBC inafikia mwananchi hata wa chini pia. So ndio mimi inanipa morali hata kutoka Lamu kufika hapa Kakamega leo niwe pamoja na KBC.
Tukimalizia,
ndio
pengine tu wito wako kwa Wakenya wengine,
ndio,
na pia vijana kama wewe.
Ndio. Kwanza mimi naweza ambia vijana kwenye huko, jaribu kufanya ile kazi ya uhakika yenye inaweza kwamba isikuharibia maisha yako ya kesho. Cha kwanza. Cha pili pia penda usalama kwenye uko, kwa sababu kama Kakamega hii ingelikuwa kama haina usalama, sasa hatungekuwa tuko hapa sasa. Tungelikuwa sasa kila mtu ako kwake na kila mtu angekuwa ako na wasiwasi. Na jambo lingine pia lazima nikiwa hapa niwashukuru wale mashabiki wa kutoka Lamu County walioniombea mpaka nimefika hapa. So ningeomba pia niwataje pia. Ndio. Kuna Kamande wa Witu, Eranga wa Witu, alafu kuna Joffrey wa Majembeni, alafu kuna Mama Orenge, alafu kuna Saimo Kakamega pia amekuwa hapa, nimekuwa naye. Alafu kuna mashabiki wengi. So hata wametoka kwa ile raha, mashabiki wamekuwa wengi, lakini 9-10 nitamshukuru pia baba na mama pia wameniombea nikafika hapa, Mzee Baraza akiwa pale Mapunga na Selina Baraza akiwa pale Mapunga. So nimeshukuru sana Isee.
Umesema salamu ni lazima na KBC ndio nusu ya?
KBC ni nusu ya kuonana.
Asante sana Elias.
Asante sana boss, nimeshukuru sana.
Asante. That is Elias Baraza, of course, just telling us what the thing that actually prompted me to come all the way from Lamu to this place. But before we conclude, Karen, we have Praxidis here. KBC is not just for the young or the old, but we also have the middle class in between, of course, listening to KBC. And we have Praxidis, all the way from Nairobi.
Yes.
Just to come and be part and parcel of this great day for us.
Yes. All the way from Nairobi. I just came because of Radio Taifa. I enjoy listening to Radio Taifa, especially when I'm in low mood. When I get the voice from Radio Taifa, I feel at home. When I heard that on the ground, I had to rush and come and be with you. And it's a fun day. Those who are in the house, please come out and enjoy.
And when someone looks at you, they will feel probably when you talk about just listening to radio, they will look at someone probably who's just idle at home. But you're a very relatively busy lady.
I'm a very busy lady, always taking care of patients, but out of patients, I come back to make my heart feel at home. Yes.
And you listen to KBC all the time?
I listen to Radio Taifa, KBC all the time, and enjoy listening to all the voices all around the nation.
We also appreciate the fact that you're actually supposed to go home and take care of your sick mom, but you're actually making time to ensure that you're here before you go there.
Yes. I'm here. I have to listen to Radio Ingo, see the fans, see the reporters on one-on-one before I rush home.
There's someone who is actually calling you. Can you just tell that person that indeed you are the one who is on air?
Yes, I'm the one on the air. Please come and we enjoy with you. Those ones in the house, it's a fun day. Please come to Kakamega Ingo. It's a well good. Check and go.
Fantastic, Praxidis. Karen, that is exactly what is happening here in Kakamega County, specifically at Havana's launch along Kisumu-Kakamega route, where KBC Radio Taifa will actually be holding its Rumba night. And you can hear in the background, of course, that Rumba is actually blazing from the speakers. And of course, revelers are already here. As I've said, when you look at the parking lot, you can actually see the number of vehicles that are actually parked here. Inside is already filled, and we are asking that more and more people who are actually in their homes, who are actually waiting probably later in the night before they come, to actually continue coming, so then they can actually be part and parcel of this great day for Radio Taifa. As of course, the head of KBC Radio Taifa has actually said that there'll be more programs tomorrow, and of course, trust KBC Radio Taifa to bring you very educative programs going forward, and to continue getting in touch with their followers across the country. My name is Achola Simon. I take you back to Karen. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Simon Achola, for bringing us the sights and sounds from Kakamega. You have given us the theory bit. We expect that tomorrow we will see the action of how everything culminated at the KBC Radio Taifa's Rumba night. And we wish everyone attending the Rumba KBC Radio Taifa Rumba night a wonderful evening of music and celebration. Thank you very much, Simon Achola. We now take a short break. We will be back with more news right after the break.
Did you know crop insurance protects farmers from losses caused by unexpected events like extreme weather, floods, pests, diseases, drought, and fire? It also covers uncertainties in crop yields due to weather-related and natural disasters. It covers crops such as wheat, sugarcane, rice, maize, barley, and tomatoes. Now you know. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
Now, retirement can be a season of change. It can be a season of freedom or uncertainty.
I had a bit of challenge with finances. For one, I was used to my money, paying my bills, and then having to ask my spouse, oh, I need to go somewhere. Can you spare me 2K, 1K? And that was quite humbling.
Yeah. I was at a place where I was saying, now I am not running after sales and marketing out here. I'm redirecting my energy elsewhere. Can we have proper conversation?
Emotionally, as you're saying, retiring as a deputy principal, where you are used to people recognizing you, and I went back to the estate and you are called Mama so and so. And not madam.
Not madam. If we redefine retirement and start a very active life, at the age of 70 you look back and say, all has been meaningless, chasing after the wind. What am I bequeathing myself? And that's why you said, even family, sometimes children leave and you are left a desperate woman in the house. You don't know even what to do. You have no relationships in church or in the society or anything.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, the government has stepped up efforts to promote clean energy in public institutions, with correctional facilities set to phase out the use of firewood in favor of liquefied petroleum gas and other clean energy solutions. The State Department for Petroleum has pledged to support the State Department for Correctional Services in transitioning all prison and correctional institutions from wood fuel to LPG and clean energy within the next year.
Speaking during a tour of the Nairobi Remand and Allocation Prison, which is part of the 3 institutions targeted in the pilot phase of the transition, Petroleum Principal Secretary Kelo Harsama said the government is scaling up investment in clean cooking infrastructure as part of ongoing efforts to accelerate Kenya's clean energy transition and advance the country's national sustainable development goal.
The State Department of Correctional Services, the PS is here, are going to work together to ensure that these LPGs are installed at this facility to ensure that the primitive use of firewood is replaced by modern reticulation and use of LPG.
Correctional Services Principal Secretary Dr. Salome Biako says the department is targeting full migration during the current financial year following the successful transition at Langata Women's Maximum Security Prison.
We are not using wood fuel, which we know, and we have a very, very huge budget to cater for medical expenses for respiratory diseases, eye diseases, skin diseases, which are associated with the use of wood fuel. We will contain that. And the savings we will make, because we are already making a lot of savings, we can use that to put solar power.
Prison Staff Training College in Ruiru and the Nairobi Probation Hostel for the pilot are the other facilities involved in the pilot phase. The initiative, which is also exploring other clean energy options, including biogas, solar-powered stoves, and integrated steam cooking technologies, aligns with the Kenya National Cooking Transition Strategy for the year 2024 to the year 2028 and the government's National Tree Growing and Restoration Campaign, which targets 15 billion trees by the year 2032. The transition also aligns with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, Kenya's climate change commitments, the National LPG growth strategy, and this year's Correctional Service Week's theme of transforming correctional services through technology and green solutions. Michael Moniga for Easy Friday.
Now, the construction of the Lusigeti Hospital, Kiagata Road in Nachu Ward, Kiambu County, has commenced, a day after residents and the business community staged a peaceful demonstration over its poor condition. The residents had called on the Kiambu County government and the Kenya Rural Roads Authority to rehabilitate the road, citing frequent accidents, deteriorating performance of businesses, poor access to Lusigeti Hospital, government offices, schools, and other social amenities. Nachu Ward MCA Father George Njoroge welcomed the commencement of the project, saying it points to a speedy response of concerns raised by residents. He lauded the intervention of Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ichung'wa, the national government, and the Kiambu County government. The leaders expressed optimism that upgrading the road will improve connectivity, enhance safety, and spur economic activities in the area.
Kazi tumefanyiwa. Hii barabara ilikuwa inatusumbua sana. Sana sisi ni mahasras, tunafanya kazi na magari, lakini zinaumia kwa hii barabara.
We are very happy as a community that this road has finally been done. We have been calling out for the government to come and do something about it. As you can see, it is having so many facilities. We have schools, we have hospitals here. So ours is just to thank the government.
Several roads that needs to be worked on. And I want, with that kind of speed, they get to every area of Nachu Ward, because this is an area that is fast growing and we need good roads, we need water, we need electricity, all the
The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is in the final process of clearing dues owed to the pension scheme, running to over 1 billion shillings. The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Staff Pension Schemes Chairman Martin Kingasia says the corporation has demonstrated commitment in clearing the dues, something that can happen before the end of August 2026. Kingasia assured retirees, some who have been waiting for their lump sum payment for almost 5 years now, that their patience was almost bearing fruit. He said the current management of the corporation had exhibited full commitment to ensuring that those who left service and are yet to get their pay are sorted within the shortest time possible. Kingasia, who was addressing the 34th annual general meeting for KBC's pensioners, urged pensioners to remain united as the corporation navigates the legal terrain to bring to an end the lump sum payment headache.
Kuwa wanatoka kabla wafike gate watakuwa na pesa zao mfukoni. Okay? I believe so. And it's not my pledge, it is my pledge, it is your pledge. Do not curse what I have said. Usilaani niliyosema, badala yake ibariki yale nimesema na useme ni yetu sisi wote. Because kama tutapata hizo pesa, Sio ati ni Martin atapata na wewe utapata, sote tutapata. So let us, when I say that, Mungu anakupa kile ambacho unaomba, si ndio? We are fighting for everybody to get their money, and we believe that all of us are going to get our money, and if that happens, the status of your accounts will definitely change one morning. Mtaamka asubuhi mnakuta mambo iko sawa.
Nyandarua County Commissioner Abdirisak Jaldesa has assured all Kalau residents that investigations into the deaths of 2 people during last week's parliamentary by-elections are ongoing. Then County Commissioner has called for close collaboration between national government officials and the newly elected Member of Parliament. This and more stories on our County Wrap.
Speaking after a County Security Committee meeting, Jaldesa pledged the government's commitment to apprehending the persons behind the killing of 2 people during the mini poll.
Without being partial, and actually no player, no political party actually complained that the county commissioner did not provide them with adequate security.
Elsewhere, at least 390 county government officers are said to benefit from specialized training in geographical information systems in a move aimed at transforming land administration and strengthening digital land governance across the country.
I encourage every participant to fully engage with the training, exchange experiences with colleagues from other counties, and build professional networks that will continue long after this program comes to an end.
In Machakos County, the national and county governments have been urged to promote production and consumption of clean drinking water in villages to combat waterborne diseases.
We have very many women legislators. Can we advocate about clean water? We always said you educate a woman, you educate a village. Tushikane zote. Tupatie families clean water.
Elsewhere in Moranga County, home-based childcare providers are calling for greater recognition and support from the county government.
Home-based childcare providers are a neglected sect that is doing an important job in our community. And we thought it best that they should be recognized by our government.
And finally, in Kilifi County, the government has intensified its campaign against rising criminal activities, with security agencies urging residents to work closely with law enforcement officers to stamp out insecurity.
So letu kama serikali ni kuomba watu ya Mere na watu ya Malindi kwa jumla kwamba tushirikiane na serikali ili tuweze kubadilisha Malindi.
Now, it is the river that gave Nairobi its name, from the Maasai word Enkare Nairobi, meaning cool waters. But today, the Nairobi River tells a very different story of lost identity. It was then a source of clean water for farming and sometimes religious purposes in the early times of the city's growth. Tonight on Know Your History, Aaron Marie traces the river's journey from a lifeline to a polluted waterway and the efforts to restore it.
When we speak of Nairobi River, there's this particular pillar that marked the first ever bridge that connected to Nairobi. This bridge, Ainsworth Bridge, commonly known as the Museum Bridge, forms a historic pattern of the Nairobi River as it was first constructed in 1919 by James Ainsworth, a British officer. But what is the history of Nairobi River? Let's find out.
The Nairobi River begins its journey in the Ondiri Swamp, owns a clear lake known by the Kikuyu as Kehenia, meaning bright waters. From here, it flows through the city and joins the River Athi and down to the Indian Ocean. Before colonial times, the river was central to life. Communities like the Kikuyu and Maasai dependent on its clear waters for farming and livestock. Oral histories note that Ondiri attracted migratory birds and wildlife, e.g. waterfowl, making it a hunting and ritual area. Indian railway workers are recorded as using Ondiri as a ritual site, scattering ashes before it became polluted. But with the arrival of the British in 1899, Nairobi town grew rapidly. Forests were cleared, wetlands drained, and the river's natural system disrupted. By 1906, waters from those springs were already being piped into the growing town. By 1919, the first bridge was erected by James Ainsworth, a British long-serving officer close to the Museum Hill. The bridge would connect people to the Nairobi city center during the city's early development. The bridge has transformed over the years with changes in development, but those pillars that were placed at the very beginning kept the history of the Nairobi River alive. However, after independence in 1963, rapid urban expansion, especially informal settlements, placed even greater pressure on the river. Raw sewage, industrial waste, and dumping turned it into a drainage channel. Today, less than half of the Nairobi households are connected to proper sewer system. Encroachment has taken also its toll. Thousands of structures now sit on riparian land. The results? Frequent flooding, waterborne diseases, and the loss of biodiversity. Also home to rich wetlands and wildlife, parts of the river system are now heavily degraded. But efforts to restore the river are underway. Since the early 2000s, programs led by the government and partners like the United Nations Environment Program have attempted cleanups and rehabilitation. In 2022, the government established the Nairobi Rivers Commission to coordinate restoration efforts. New plans include sewer expansion, dredging, and the creation of green parks along the river. Community groups are also stepping in, planting trees, cleaning riverbanks, and protecting the source at Ondiri. Nairobi River is the story of a city, its growth, its neglect, and now its chance at renewal. Whether its flows clean again will depend not just on policy, but on the people's daily choices of conservation. For Know Your History, I'm Aaron Marie.
True worth is found in Jesus Christ. When you're searching for identity, Jesus meets you with truth and grace.
Talk to someone who feels like, things are out of control instead of driving away from the skid, driving into the skid.
And I think for some of us in our faith, when we're in moments of grief or chaos or overwhelm, we think, okay, in order to connect with God best, we have to do it like that other person or the way that we used to do it. But we would be surprised to find out that the best way to experience God is to stare into the skid in the natural way you've been wired in the season you're actually in.
I started to get so just in love with the Lord, yearning for him, that I sought the Lord not just for him. When I decided to just, instead of balling my fist, I opened my hand. Instead of looking down internally, I started to look up. And it was in this desperate offering that the Lord met me.
Mama, son. In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. It's now time for us to take a look at all the business stories making headlines tonight. And in studio to keep us informed, we do have Nduta Mukami. Nduta, please take it away.
And a very good evening to you. Many thanks for keeping us company tonight on Easy Friday. It's time to talk numbers on business news tonight. My name is Nduta Mukami. The national government is rolling out various measures to secure the country's food security following depressed rains that have affected maize production in parts of the Northern Rift and Western Kenya. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki says the government is closely monitoring the situation after projections showed that maize production could decline by 30% this year.
The government has brought together relevant cabinet and principal secretaries to assess the country's food security situation following depressed rains in key maize growing areas. The officials are deliberating on interventions to avert hunger and losses, as well as strengthen preparedness for the expected El Nino season.
The government will go out of its way to make sure that this situation will not affect the food security of our country. We have met this morning to look at some of the immediate interventions we need to make. We have agreed to continue meeting every week to make sure that there is enough preparedness.
Maize crops in parts of Western Kenya and the North Rift have already withered after weeks of no rainfall.
Huwa ninalima mbegu na kwa hiyo mbegu nusu yake tayari imeharibika. Ilitumia almost 10 million. Na saa hizi kenye kiko hata kiwezi kafika pale ni nusu yake.
Agriculture Principal Secretary Dr. Kiprono Rono says maize production is projected to decline by 30%, while maize seed production has dropped by 25%.
Effect of this drought has affected both commercial farmers, which I'm saying ordinary farmers, the smallholder farmers, and also they have affected the seed growing farmers, like Kenya Seed ADC. They are affected. ADC is affected and Kenya Seed 25%.
The government has begun a comprehensive assessment of crop damage to guide support measures, including subsidized farm inputs for farmers to plant short-season crops during the October-December rains. Ahead of the forecast El Nino rains, farmers are being encouraged to harvest their crops in time, proper drying and storage of mature crops to minimize post-harvest losses.
We are taking all possible measures to prevent any part of Kenya, any citizen of Kenya having to suffer famine or lack of food, and to support our farmers.
Trevor Ngendo for Easy Friday.
Gender gap continues to stalk the engineering profession in Kenya, with women making about 15% of all professionals registered engineers in Kenya. Speakers at the second Women Engineers Summit in Nakuru County are calling for deliberate policy reforms, targeted investments, and stronger institutional support to increase female representation in Kenya's engineering profession.
Data from the Engineers Board of Kenya shows that there are about 4,000 registered professional engineers in Kenya, with more than 10,000 graduate engineers waiting to be registered by the board. However, of the registered engineers, women account for about 14%, despite increased enrollment of female students in science and engineering programs in the last 10 years.
The initiatives should actually start from much lower, from STEM, the lowest grades, primary school, through high school, through university, and all the way to the leadership positions.
To address this, female engineers are proposing policies that strengthen STEM education for girls from an early age, increase scholarships and industrial attachments, establish structured mentorship programs, and support the transition from graduate engineers to professional engineer through funded training and supervised practice.
That is the reason that we are gathered here today, to encourage the women to continue doing their work and to also look at things, engineering solution from gender lenses, so that they can reach to each and every corner of our community, of our county, and provide the relevant engineering solutions for our day-to-day problems.
Participants at the second Women's Engineers Summit in Nakuru County are advocating for inclusion of women in decision-making bodies across engineering institutions, public agencies, and infrastructure programs to ensure diversity informs policy, innovation, and project delivery. Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Ports Authority is banking on the expansion of the Kisumu port to grow revenue and improve lake transport. KPA is already constructing 13 feeder ports within the Lake Victoria Basin to improve water transport in Lake Victoria. Kisumu Port Acting Manager Elijah Chirchir says expansion efforts are underway to facilitate handling of larger vessels that would drive cargo tonnage from the current 450,000 metric tons. Weekly for Catch with the details.
The Kisumu port has witnessed steady growth in cargo handling, with more than 450,000 metric tons of cargo facilitated at the port last year, up from just 4,300 metric tons in 2017. Kisumu Port Acting Manager Elijah Chirchir says expansion works are ongoing to allow for more cargo handling.
We know that the future is bright for us. We are expecting maybe at the end of this year, we are going to handle over 500,000 metric tons.
The facility is banking on the 13 feeder ports being constructed within the Lake Victoria Basin to grow revenue beyond the 38 million shillings realized during the 2025-2026 financial year.
We are going to put more handling equipment so that it is going to increase the revenue.
KPA is also wooing small businesses in the region to utilize the facility to transport their wares across the country's borders.
Kisumu Port is going actually to transform this region, especially now with the coming up of SGR. We are going to have a intermodal transport system which will be well set and everybody will benefit.
The port operator is in the process of introducing ferry services in Lake Victoria to improve transport and commerce in the Lake Victoria water basin. Reporting for Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okage.
The Public-Private Partnerships Directorate has dismissed claims that the proposed Public-Private Partnerships Amendment Bill of 2026 would transfer its project's oversight role to the Contracting Authority. PPP Director General Engineer Kefa Seda has reaffirmed that its oversight mandates remains unchanged in the proposed reforms. Engineer Seda says that by transferring financial and operational risks to private entities, the government can swiftly deliver critical infrastructure.
There has been some sort of information circulating on social media platform which borders misinformation or misrepresentation on the sort of amendments that we're doing. And there seems to be an interpretation that the PPP Directorate or the National Treasury is abdicating its approval or oversight role when it comes to evaluation of PPP projects. PPP Directorate will be reviewing and issuing no objections or approval to all evaluation reports that emanate from contracting authorities. We all know the sort of risk exposure we might have if we get things wrong, and therefore, as a directorate, we'll make sure that anything that comes from the contracting authorities, be it from the national government or from the devolved units, we review them before we forward them to the PPP committee to make the requisite decisions.
The government is supporting acceleration of value addition of tea to brand Kenyan tea and enhance income from the cash crop. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says the support to factories is aimed at improving tea quality, increasing processing capacity, and enhancing competitiveness of the Kenyan tea in global markets. Tea is the second largest agricultural foreign exchange earner for Kenya after horticulture and supports the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of smallholder farmers. In recent years, the government has introduced reforms aimed at improving the value chain's competitiveness through value addition, factory modernization, and new export markets.
Sisi pia ni lazima tuwe na uwezo wa kufika Ulaya na kusema this is Kenya tea. Vile wewe unaingia kiosk, unanunua chupa ya Coca-Cola. Tunataka mtu akiingia supermarket Ulaya, anaingia ananunua majani ya wapi? Ya Kenya.
Kagwe says enhancing value addition will empower tea factories to improve efficiency, production of higher value teas, returns for farmers, and competitiveness of Kenyan tea in international markets.
Ni lazima tupange chai yetu ionekane TV, ionekane kwa bus, ionekane kwa redio huko Ulaya. Ndio tea yetu, chai yetu iwe ikipanda na ikipatiwa bei ya juu.
He urged stakeholders to support initiatives aimed at strengthening the sustainability of the tea value chain.
A country grows because a farmer has got something in the pocket. And the something in the farmer's pocket feeds into the rest of the industry. The country grows because a farmer has got a product which he takes for value adding. And when they add value adding, you get jobs. And when you get jobs, our country becomes more stable.
Engineers are calling on the government agencies to settle verified pending bills owed to contractors, consultants, and engineering firms, warning that delayed payments are weakening local firms' ability to participate in infrastructure projects. Institution of Engineers of Kenya Vice President Harrison Keter says payment delays have eroded the financial capacity of engineers, limiting their access to credit and locking many out of new contracts. Data from the National Treasury indicates that the Pending Bills Verification Committee received claims worth 664.8 billion shillings, out of which 80.3 billion shillings is verified road sector claims for securitization, while 155.3 billion shillings is additional verified claims that are scheduled for phased settlement.
National Infrastructure Fund should therefore be able to ring-fence funds for every project so that as a project kicks off, the funds are available and there is no opportunity for diverting it into other causes. That will put the issue of pending bills in a forgotten debate.
The Institution of Engineers of Kenya is pushing for inclusion of engineers in the National Infrastructure Fund.
We have all that we need to develop. We'll therefore need to avail resources to train our engineers, and as IEK, we shall roll out more of these relevant trainings in the field of AI so that our engineers are ready.
We cannot shun artificial intelligence. We have reached a stage whereby now we have to embrace it. And I think right from the time the students come into university, they should be well aware of what it entails and how they can responsibly apply artificial intelligence.
Engineers are calling for an upward review of local content requirements in public infrastructure projects from the current 40% to 60% to create more employment opportunities for Kenyans, retain technical expertise, as well as strengthen local contractors and suppliers.
For now, we will work with what we want, what we have, but there are those processes that are coming. Setting up of the Secretariat Board, the CEO, and other senior employees of the fund. We would want engineers to be at that table. That is the only way we can set the stage of design, planning, and implementation, successful implementation of infrastructure projects.
That will be done even more because the female engineers are there. Like in the graduate engineers, the registered graduate engineers, there are actually very many female engineers. So the transition into professional engineers, gender notwithstanding, if the Women in Engineering forum is actually is better and the capacity is increased, I think naturally more women will transition.
Crude oil prices hit $100 per barrel for the first time since May, as the escalating conflict in the Middle East reignited fears over global energy supplies. The global benchmark Brent crude rose more than 6% to $100.69 per barrel, following several days of increases as the U.S. stepped up military strikes against Iran. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Crude oil prices had been falling following a temporary ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran. They dropped back to levels last seen before the U.S. and Israel began military action against Iran on 28 February. However, the ceasefire has failed, and this week U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the people in charge in Iran were not ready to make a deal. This has seen crude oil prices spiked after Houthi militia in Yemen attacked oil tankers in the Red Sea, threatening a key export route that Saudi Arabia has used to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, a stalled EU sanctions push against Russia could ripple into global gas prices and fertilizer costs, with knock-on efforts for import-dependent economies far beyond Europe. European Union foreign ministers have again failed to agree on 21st round of sanctions against Russia, with the package stalling over disagreements on gas restriction rather than the intended banking sector measures. Greece is resisting a planned ban on transshipping Russian liquefied natural gas, arguing it would simply redirect Russian gas to other global buyers without cutting Moscow's revenue, while shrinking Europe's own access to supply. A full ban takes effect January 2027, barring EU companies from buying, importing, or moving Russian LNG anywhere, including to third world countries. Finally, the U.S. has imposed new tariffs on 60 trading partners in the latest escalation in the trade war reignited by U.S. President Donald Trump when he returned to office last year. Those targeted, including the UK, China, and the European Union, will face a tariff of 10% to 12.5% on all goods, accounting 99.4% American imports. The tariffs, which replace an identical levy which expires today, are based on claims key economic partners have failed to properly tackle forced labor. The levies are likely to raise costs for businesses and consumers, although its impact could be softened due to the number of exempted goods.
And that's where we put a cap tonight on Easy Friday Business News. We will be taking a quick break, but when we come back, Karen Kibet is going to be bringing you all the latest in the world of sports. And because KBC is your true sports partner, we have a lot lined up on that front. Thank you for keeping us company. My name is Nduta Mokami. Do have yourselves a wonderful weekend.
Sasa unaweza kupokea stesheni ya KBC Eastern Service kwa njia iliyomurwa baada ya KBC kuboresha na kuwekeza mitambo mipya ya kisasa ya kupeperusha matangazo. Pata matangazo kwa lugha ya Burji kila siku kuanzia saa 11 asubuhi hadi saa 4 asubuhi. Rendile Service itakuwa hewani kuanzia saa 4 asubuhi hadi saa 9 jioni. Kisha matangazo kupitia lugha ya Kiborana itachukua usukani kuanzia saa 9 hadi saa 2 usiku. Kutufungia jamvi ni Turukana Service watakaopeperusha matangazo yao kuanzia saa 2 usiku hadi saa 6 usiku. KBC Eastern Service inapatikana Lodwar na maeneo yaliyo karibu kupitia 98.3 FM. Na kwa wasikilizaji wa Burji, Rendile na Borana waliomo Marsabit na maeneo jirani, KBC Eastern Service inapatikana kwa mita bendi 98.7 FM.
Welcome back. It's now time for Easy Friday Sports. Now, it's all systems go as the 2026 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations takes center stage this weekend from Sunday, with KBC Channel 1 set to broadcast all the matches live from Morocco. Harambee Starlets, who will be making their second appearance in the tournament, will kick off their campaign on Sunday against hosts Morocco from 11 p.m.
Harambee Starlets are already in Morocco for the tournament, which kicks off on Sunday at 8 p.m, with Senegal taking on Algeria in Group A, before the Kenyan national women's soccer team plays Morocco at 11 p.m. The Starlets will then take on Senegal on July 30th, before concluding their group stage against Algeria on the 3rd of August. The top 2 teams in the group will advance in the quarterfinals, set for August 8th and 9th, when they will meet opponents from Group B, which features defending champions South Africa, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso and Tanzania. Beyond the battle for the continental title, the tournament also features a pathway to the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil. The 4 teams that reach semi-finals will secure automatic qualification for the global showpiece, while the losers still have a chance to qualify through the playoffs in Casablanca.
Team Kenya endured a difficult start to their campaign in the bowls and 3x3 basketball competitions as the Commonwealth Games got underway in Glasgow when they lost their opening matches in today's fixtures. In the men's singles bowls competition, Kenya's Anwar Hamada opened his Section D campaign with a 3-0 defeat to Malta's Sean James, Panis in round 1. Hamada will now look to bounce back in his remaining group matches as he seeks a place in the knockout stages. On the 3x3 basketball court, Kenya's women's team was outclassed 21-5 by defending champions Australia in their Pool A opener. Australia later suffered a 16-6 defeat to hosts England, while Uganda edged Jamaica 18-17 in another closely contested Pool A fixture. Fiji defeated Cayman Islands 16-6 in another match. Kenya also endured a tough start in the men's 3x3 wheelchair basketball competition, where they were beaten 16-3 by Canada in their opening Pool A match.
And we are in the final minute of this game. Next to Ryan Glasgow.
Moving on, GSU men's volleyball team have stormed into the semi-finals of the Mozart Bet Kenya Cup after a convincing straight sets win over Equity Bank in the first quarter-final match played today at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. Prisons Kenya and the fast-rising Chema volleyball team also booked their semi-final slots after emerging victorious in their respective matches.
GSU, who were dethroned in the National Men's League, were raring for a fight in the Kenya Cup in their quest for at least a coveted silverware this season. They dominated from the opening set, winning 25-22 before taking the second set 25-17. They sealed their place in the last 4 with a 25-19 victory in the third set. In another quarterfinal match, Prisons Kenya also secured a comfortable straight sets victory over APK. They won the opening set 25-18 before taking the second 25-16. They completed the rout with a 25-13 victory in the third set. Prisons Kenya will face Chema in the semi-finals after Chema defeated Kapu by a straight set of 25-20, 25-15 and 25-15 in the last quarter-final. The men's semi-final matches will be played tomorrow at Kasarani Indoor Arena with the final set for Sunday.
Now, Kenya's unbeaten lightweight boxer Javan Buyu has expressed confidence of successfully defending his Universal Boxing Organization Intercontinental Lightweight title when he faces Tanzania's Ramadan Eid in the main event of the second edition of the quarterly SportPesa Boxing Night on Saturday at the Edge Convention Center in Nairobi. A total of 12 bouts will be held tomorrow, with boxers from 6 nations in action.
Buyu, who boasts an unblemished record of 7 victories including 4 knockouts, says he's well prepared to retain his title and extend his unbeaten run as he targets a 3rd career championship.
What's going to happen tomorrow? What I'll be promising you, it's a good fight, a good show, and the party will be done here in Kenya.
His opponent, Ramadhan Eid of Tanzania, heads into the contest with an impressive record of 9 wins from 10 fights and is unbeaten in his last 5 outings.
Ujumbe wangu kwa Javan, namwambia aje tu kesho, aje kukutana nacho stahili. Unajua kuna kashazoea ile ndizi, so anakuja kukutana na gimbi, kazi anayo kesho.
Moroccan debutants Hamza Bounaouri and Habib Nasro will make their professional bows against Kenya's Jamal Athuwani and Nicodemus Hagai respectively.
Mwanamichezo anatarajia mazuri. Kwa hiyo mimi natarajia ushindi.
National and East Africa champion Javan has expressed optimism of clinching and retaining his title tomorrow as he'll be facing off his opponent from Tanzania. Reporting for Channel 1 Sports from Nairobi, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Thank you, Frederick Mwoki, for that report. And finally, Ibrahim Dungu headlined a list of winners at the 2026 IPSC Level 3 Handgun and Pistol Caliber Carbine Championship after clinching the production division title during a 4-day competition held at the Hado shooting range in Naivasha. The event brought together more than 60 of Kenya's top practical shooters alongside international competitors. Pravir Vorha emerged the champion in the standard division, while South Africa's Johan Otto claimed the top honors in the optics division. Kenya's Morris Mureithi won the production optics category as Isa secured victory in the open division. Geoffrey Pesa topped the pistol caliber carbine PCC division. Agatha Mushiri of the Kenya Defence Forces was crowned the High Lady after an outstanding performance against a strong field of competitors. And before we go, remember the action is only just beginning on here on KBC. Fresh from airing the FIFA World Cup 2026, we now turn our attention to the 2026 CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations, coming to you live from Morocco from the 26th July to the 16th of August. Kenya's Harambee Starlets are back on the continental stage and will be looking to make their mark in Group A. We do wish them all the best, and that's not all, because KBC remains the home of sports, with more major local, continental and international sports coming your way. That's all we had for you right here on Easy Friday. My name is Karen Kibet. Our sign language interpreter this evening has been Caroline Njoroge. Do have yourself a good night and a peaceful weekend. I'll see you next week.
Life changes, and so can your insurance. In the event you are unable to pay your life insurance premiums for some reason, and you have paid your premiums for at least 3 years, don't worry. Your premiums haven't gone to waste. Your policy may remain in force under paid-up value, giving you reduced but valuable cover with no extra premium payments. It is recommended that you do not cancel your policy before maturity to receive the full benefits of your policy. Talk to your insurance company in the event you have challenges paying your insurance premium. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
DJ pull up your vibe, getting fun.
Feeling my stats, feeling my flow. A girl from Woody, they buy, ready to go on, yeah, club.
See, me all like to party.
Hello, hello, nimekuja na tangazo. Hapo tu. So stop, staki kusikia. Hii ni moto.
This is how we do it, yeah, and yeah, we do it like that.
Zaki moto.
Do.
This party, Zaki moto.
Took this across the globe, punch your winning emojis, put that shit on my shoulder. Right back on the road, I pray that it's a bigger load. No calculator, I got digits up the scope. 17.5 for a t-shirt, white girl out the snow. Feel like yachty, I had concrete on the boat. Jump in that water, we just tryna stay afloat. Trapping, rapping, can chase up, we in violence. No capping, run the lobby, came from out. Took some risks, I smoke past in Abu Dhabi. I was stepping proud of before I knew a stylist. Let me tell you what I call the kids Satchmo. Cause every rapper in the gang got a piece of my swag before. Never been pressed about it, just pulling up back for more. 100 been selling that salt way before I done had a show. Kiss to the label forever, I guess on the last ago. Sitting in the crib and I'm all alone and I wish that I had my bro. The stronger the link, you fly with your wings wherever I go. My foot on their neck, now I gotta flex, you already know. The streets taught me lessons, so many lessons. And God taught me blessings, I had you flexing. I'm blessed, no money young, I had you damaged. On God, use your loved one, I had you crashing. It's pain, got nephew blood is running through my veins for life. Me and take out drinking on private flights. Snakes all in my circle, I couldn't see, thought I was blind. Stevie Wonder told me you just had to read the signs. Won't let you take this from me, gotta die for mine. Like popcorn, go to Jamaica, I know Shottas, Bumble Clyde. Young growed up takers, we was always on the block. Had to remind myself that I made it, I just looked down at my watch. Young on the system, I had to give myself a chance. Now I'm infatuated with playing stones, the way that they dance. Playing the game of chess, pointing and raising their hand. Ain't no time on straight to none. Can't be the next rapper to take the stand. Lessons, so many lessons. God taught me blessings. I had you flexing. I'm blessed, no money young. I had you damaged. Damn, lose your loved one. I had you crashing.